Welcome back to the Juice.
Bang.
Take it away, Penny.
That's not my name.
He said Benny.
Yeah.
I said Penny.
Oh,
You ever watch SpongeBob?
I'm not a SpongeBobber.
not familiar.
Take it
with
away,
that one.
Penny.
on.
No?
No,
Oh my God.
I didn't do SpongeBob.
Guys, old heads. What would you guys watch? Black and white cartoons?
Tom and Jerry.
Little Tom and Jerry, yeah.
Tom and Jerry was the
Wizard of
bee's
Oz.
knees.
Jimmy Neutron.
Black and white.
Jimmy Neutron.
Fairly Odd.
Fairly Odd Parents.
Fairly Odd
L
Parents.
Fairly Odd. You kidding me?
Yeah, I know.
That's
Do
your
you even,
namesake.
do you even know what that is?
Yeah.
I named it.
Oh, okay.
That's crazy.
Look, tell me who you know doing things like the Lemon Boys do it on the way to the top. This just elevator music, matter of fact.
Spikeball's full of a bunch of losers.
I'ma put it in reverse like Fanaki, cocky. Never be killing these brothers softly.
I had one Blue Moon, but I think I drank it on the way here.
Y'all be driving stick shift. This is auto. You know I turn it up. Get it up. I wanna beat up the beat. You gotta see if the
Hey guys, it's Kyle Keenan. Keenan is key.
Gabe Finocchi is going to be playing with
You know I'm about to eat like a Ryan Paul. Too tough, no rest crown. I wear it. Big cut, big flex. Mike Garrett. Running game round here. This is natural. And you know I got the touch like a masterful. Spike lemonade. On the way to the top, about to elevate. Spike lemonade. And the boys don't play. Better get it straight. Come on!
Honestly, with the Discord, dude, I honestly just thought it was like, it was a bit of a bitch ass move.
Are you serious?
That's so good. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back, Spike Lemonade Podcast, episode 29. Josh D here with a very special guest.
Oh, hi.
This is Ben Dantowitz with us. We're also here with Maddie Spo, and on the keys, Zachary Scott Vance. Ben is a New Jersey native, born and raised here in North Jersey. What's the area again? Give it to me.
Like Essex County, right by the Newark Airport.
Got it. Essex County. So he's a North Jersey boy. Now he's down in D.C. where he lives. He lives with Albert from Roundnetwork, right?
It's this thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful tee. I actually really like your logo. Who did your guys' logo?
Albert did this logo.
I'll be
He is a-
sick. Does
yeah.
he do anything wrong?
Yeah. Sometimes
Okay.
he like only goes for backspin hits, like in pickup. Just as like it's like a tick, but
Yeah.
it's like a really tough one because he's like looking for it when it's not there.
Wow. Wow.
I'll tell you
But
one.
he knows it. He's having a good time. Like,
Bro,
yeah.
okay. Okay.
And then you have to set him for it. So it's actually maybe your fault if you're not setting him for what you know he wants. So
That's
give and
fair.
take, give and take.
So fair.
You know what? You know what Albert did not miss on is picking his partner in crime in the Roundnetwork. He hand-selected Ben Dantowitz to join him in this journey, and I know there's a bunch of others that have helped and aided in your guys' conquest, but I feel like you were the perfect co-star to his product. Do you agree or disagree with that sentiment?
I would disagree with the premise because I actually handpicked Albert.
No
But-
way, really?
But
It's the Ben show.
Round Network is your baby?
We can go. Well, no, it's our baby.
Okay.
But when we first discussed it, the conversation was, if you don't know about my background doing Roundnet everything and Roundnet content as well, it was, there's a lot more good work that can be done. And then when I talked to Albert about it, we shopped ideas. The word Roundnetwork has just been parked on the back of my stove for some time. And then he was into it, and of course, then I was like, hey, what if we made better content? And then he said, hold my beer. And yeah, I can't take any credit for the level he's pushing things to, but as far as being someone who's just in for the ride to learn and grow and grind as much as, I don't know, humanly, logistically possible, I don't know. I would pitch that there's not someone who knows Roundnet in the way that I know it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been the yin and yang. Is he's the guy who knows all the video stuff. He's been teaching me a lot of it. He's obviously learned a lot of Roundnet stuff from me.
Right.
And like you said, a lot of other minds have come into making what has come out of Roundnetwork happen.
So you said Roundnetwork was parked on the back burner for a while. What ultimately led to you saying, okay, I'm sick of this being on the back burner? Did you go to Albie and say, hey, let's conceive this baby that is Roundnetwork? Like, how does that work?
Let's adopt. Well, first, just to clarify, like I don't pretend that what you guys have seen from Round Network so far is what was in the back of my head when I thought about the word Round Network for a long time. And I've other things that I can't disclose right now as far as just names and concepts for things that I think are either awesome, fitting, or some combination of also being hilarious as just names for RoundNet related things, is that Round Network was a fun one. And in thinking about leveling up production and video production, I didn't actually know exactly what Albert was going to bring to the table with his fire and too many hours on the grind. But doing the post-production stuff that's come of the past year and change. Yeah, that is loosely aligned with the idea of content being better. But I'd be kidding otherwise if I said, I always knew we would do this, because I didn't, and Albert didn't, and he definitely led a lot of the, even just like the vision casting of what we could do and where we could go. Because for me, I see Round Network as something that could and should be able to do so many more things other than just what people probably know it as, is these like documentaries on RoundNet tournaments or full game productions. Those are two really cool things. I think there's a lot of other media that RoundNet could benefit from that just don't exist yet.
Fair. You were on the you were on that RoundNet podcast, and I know that I don't want to get into this back and forth of regurgitating things that you've already said. We want to be fun, free, and unique with this discussion. So we have a couple like rapid fire questions for you.
Sure.
Was there ever a moment where Round Network and the money that was coming from outside sources to get Round Network rolling stopped, and you said to yourself, all right, we're finished. This is finished. We're in trouble.
That it's ever happened?
Did you ever get to that point last year where something happened where you where certain funds were allotted and promised, and then they were like cut, and you said,
sure.
"Oh
sorry,
man,
sorry to make you ask the question twice."
No, you're fine. You follow me though?
Yeah, I would say when we started Round Network, there was no budget for it.
Okay.
It was only people hours and time. And by the end of the year, last year, there was more than a $0 budget, but it was a lot closer to zero than where it maybe could and should be. And so all the work that happened last year was not really because of any one particular brand or person's like individual support, which we had a lot of. We had a lot of individuals come out and support us. Some people recurring support us. We had some partnerships from some RoundNet brands that definitely made a difference. But bottom line, the reason that the work happened last year and has continued to happen is because Albert and I have, in different capacities and different skill sets, willed it to happen.
So let's go into like,
Great response. Yep.
we saw Round Network start. I would say my first memory of Round Network was the exhibition games in California.
And that would be my first memory of you remembering Round Network, because you made a little fan thing.
That was cool. That was
late
cool.
night. What are you watching?
You're welcome.
Yeah. I know,
But
Zach, I'm just tasking Zach with things like insert clip here of your little like Instagram reel.
no, hopefully not. But yeah,
I want to make the job as hard in post as possible, just because I want you guys to get a taste of post production.
yeah. Don't listen.
The
to
real
that.
life production here is it's solid. A lot of good stuff going on, but I'm trying to just up the ante.
See, jokes on Matt. He does all the post stuff.
Yeah. So
You could do it all you want. I'm down.
Well, Zach was going to get credit until he spoke up,
Yeah.
and that's why Zach.
I just don't take another man's
pipe
credit.
down.
You know?
That's true.
That's crazy.
I will say I think a lot of the year, like people were like, "Oh Ben, like it's so cool what you guys are doing," but like Albert's the guy that has been doing the videography, all this and that. Like I'm pretty much just pouring quantity of hours into supporting whatever I can possibly help with. But when it comes to what you guys are seeing, especially on the doc side, I'm an assistant. I'm not an equal creator. I am.
Right.
I know that, and I think that maybe is even crazier when I try to advocate for someone who's my friend and also partner in crime on this work, is people not knowing what that grind looks like, because there are very few people in our community who have done anything like that around the world.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so with those, it was you guys did
that
California exhibition stuff, right?
Yes.
And then
that was the second thing we produced, because we did film the GWR kickoff before we went to California.
Yes. Okay. I remember that now.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that now. So did you guys start wanting to do mostly just documentary stuff, or did you guys want to start more full game coverage? Or did you know going into it, it was like, let's get a good mix of both?
I think you guys saw, hopefully if you're watching this, you saw at least 1 minute of the GWR kickoff, that first full post-production.
Mm-hmm.
That was an exploration of what can we do? What happens if we actually film lots of stuff and try to do post-production? What's the goal? And on that day, we came into it just trying to capture gameplay, because right now there's just not really well captured gameplay anywhere. So that was a step we took. And above and beyond that, we knew we wanted to get a little deeper on the players and people side of it. And so going into the Richmond side, you can pull me back to earlier in the timeline. We knew we wanted to do something more story focused. And so we had a better, target in line. So over the course of the year, you're probably seeing us learn and grow as we also then learn and grow with what we want to do. So we're improving how we operate and how we produce, but also we're improving our ideation pre-production phase.
And then also, so you guys did the Richmond doc, and I saw you guys at Salt Lake, and I saw you guys at Philadelphia, and
Columbus.
Championship, and Columbus.
And Philadelphia second time.
Yeah. So we 4 things, but I've only seen 1 doc, and the
Yeah.
Richmond doc was a pretty good turnaround time. And I'm asking the question that everybody else is going to ask.
Yeah.
When's
Where
the next
is it?
one? When's the next one? gonna
Where
be
is all
released?
this footage that you guys got?
It's a great question. I think the question I'd ask you, and I'd ask everybody watching, should comment for engagement. Helps them out.
Please do.
Is how many hours of work do you think that the Richmond episode took?
I would say 100.
100 hours.
100 hours.
Yeah. I would say you're like way low. I'll
Really?
catch you here and say
What?
there was also this college championship tournament that was covered and
Yeah.
produced. So
5.
so no, that's out.
That's out.
So that's out. So
Yeah, you're right, you're right.
a lot of time also went into that. And I'll ask you this follow-up question. What would you say is the difference in the production quality as a viewer between the Richmond episode and the college episode?
Go for it.
Yeah. I'm going to be just completely honest with you. The Richmond episode blew my socks off. I've watched it multiple times. It's the episode that I go to when I introduce RoundNet to people in my family that go, "Why are you going to Salt Lake City to play this game?" I say, "Watch this piece." When I did a little bit of commentating and they were like, "You did?" I say, "Watch this piece." I don't push people to the college nationals one, and I didn't particularly enjoy it. And I have Zach looking it up, and maybe you know off the top of your head, and it's not a dig at you, but it's what were the views, what were the numbers like on the Richmond piece, and I think it was re-uploaded versus the college nationals piece, and was there a drastic difference? And I'm giving you too many questions, but here's my final one: Did you get that response from the community of like the college nationals piece didn't live up to the hype that was the Richmond piece? Because that was honestly my sentiment.
Great question. I think the viewership is 10K higher. It's 17K for Richmond, and it's 7K on YouTube for college.
Okay.
And the reason for that gap is almost and certainly because of where our attention is on the sport. Right? The people who care about college RoundNet are in college. The people who care about the Richmond Tour Stop are in college, are out of college, are before college, are way out of college like you and me. And that's also the thing, like you said, that's what you're sending people when they're saying, "What's this thing about RoundNet?" You're like, watch Rogue. You're not like, "Hey, watch Grant Clapp be way better than a bunch of college players."
Right. Correct.
And so, yes, I would agree the actual like why behind that episode and what it means for like a viewer is very different. But the production of it, which is a question that is harder to answer, it was infinitesimally bigger. We had 2 people filming in Richmond. Maybe 2 people filming in Richmond. We had, I think, 5 or 6 people filming in that college episode. And so the amount of time that goes into making that happen, we had about a month delay for the Richmond episode, and the college episode came out about 4 months after on the air date for like the ESPN air date, which I guess as an aside also, a lot more than 10,000 people watched the ESPN video, but
That's fair.
not numbers that I have. But yeah, the quality and the, I think, just complexity of the production scales in a really challenging way. And to come back to where all these other tournaments, what's going on with them, I can say that the STS Pro Championship, as soon as we got to filming that became head over heels the #1 priority for getting produced. And it is coming out. And it's going to be coming out in March.
Wow.
Love
That's
that.
huge.
So you guys can stay tuned for that.
That's huge.
And I think to your point, that one is kind of the confluence of, now you're going to tell people you should watch this one. Respectfully, you didn't commentate for that one, but still one to watch. And then same reason being the complexity of how many more people were doing videography on there, and how much more complexity was in that for Albert doing the edit is absurd.
Really?
As far as the rest of the challengers, those obviously are part of the overall year. And there's a lot of footage, like you said, Matt. There's so much footage when I think about wanting to cut up games. Sometimes people have texted me the day after a tournament asking, so did you post-produce that game already?
Oh, dear Lord.
And
That's crazy, bro.
or did you post-produce like all the games already? And it's a very different beast to do that than it is to upload or even just clip your games and throw a highlight, track together. That's a very different beast. But yeah, the games and all the footage that we have in the tens of terabytes is something that I personally would love to get out there, but is also something that just human-wise, Albert and I can't get out in any hurry because it's, like I said, it's us either willing it to happen or it doesn't happen. It's not like someone is paying us to get those games up. It's not like we have, I'll admit, like I was really hopeful we'd have a little bit more of support from individual members of the community just because of how I think about growing the sport at the grassroots level. But the problem is we don't put the stuff behind a paywall, and comes into a bit of a philosophical discussion on should we put all this really good gameplay behind a paywall and make everybody pay us, but then people can't discover how sick this sport is and how awesome the production can be? Or do we just hope that people trust that this is a public good? It should happen. It should exist in the world. And then all of a sudden we can do things like put time into editing, train editors, grind edits ourselves. So those are super fair questions. Yeah. I think the reality is like most things, I know we'll talk about lots of different ranging topics, is people maybe don't know how much work actually goes into making this happen. Like these docs don't just happen. They like, I've put so many hours into Roundnetwork, and I know Albert's put in more, and it actually just scares me because I know how much he like wants it and how much passion he has for it and how much passion I have for it too. But like you can't just hope that a thing's going to be really cool. Yeah. The money's not there for it. So it again becomes a game of it goes as far as we want it to, and we would love, I think both of us would love for it to go farther than we want it to go, or than we can will it to go. I would say we definitely want it to go much further, but we can't will it single-handedly or two-handedly.
Yeah, I mean, you told me the other day. Sorry.
No.
But you say it's like everybody wants the footage, right? But if you were to put a paywall on it, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm not gonna watch. I'm not gonna pay to watch this."
Or this is a selfish money move.
Right.
And
but
I think the question is like we either do this or we don't do this, or someone else does this. But ultimately, like someone's got to pay for it. And for like I said, we're willing it to happen. Albert and I have like 90+% self-funded everything that Roundnetwork has ever done.
But it seems like you tell me this is like people are never going to be 100% happy. It's like, oh, we have to pay to watch this, or then we do it for free, and it's like, oh, well, where is this?
Well,
right?
it speaks to just the expectation setting for the community, right? I think part of it's pretty ironic, but for Albert, this is the first time he's done anything meaningful. He's done lots of little things and worked on stuff locally, some USAR stuff as well. But this is like the biggest project he's taken on in the Roundnet community. He's very talented. When you see this work, you're like, oh, this is a full-time job probably. Mm-hmm. And that would be a not unreasonable thing to say because it looks too good.
Yes.
Has been my critique is some of the work that like has come out of it, and there's a little bit self-aggrandizing, a little bit like, boastful, but like some of Roundnetwork's stuff is literally so good that people wouldn't believe that we actually could benefit from more engagement, more support, more buy-in. But we could. Everybody could.
So yeah, instead of asking for all the viewers, instead of asking where are these majors, where is everything, how about you understand that these are just members of the community who are volunteering their time into this, right? Just like everybody else, like a lot of tournament directors volunteer their time. A lot of people who do photos, they're volunteering time.
Yeah, the problem is Albert's like, with respect to myself and other roles and everybody else, Albert is actually like head and shoulders better at what he's doing than what anybody else is really doing.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I don't know that anyone's arguing that.
Yeah. No, but I think just like the part of, but yeah, he's doing it just because he feels like it.
More so, it's like if you guys can understand, these are just a couple guys with help from maybe a couple more guys, just trying to put something out for everybody to watch and enjoy.
I'm not mad at the paywall option. What kind of dollar amount could we get to where you think people would go, I'll do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like $1.99 is that insulting? You know what I mean? It's $4.99.
I think there's a lot of like, I guess, paths to go. I think the biggest challenge is like if we made, say, an unlisted YouTube video and put you in like, we've got a community Discord. It's pretty small, but we've got a community Discord where people that are monthly supporters are in there. We drop unlisted videos in there. The culture right now in Roundnet is, hey Josh, can you send me that link to that game?
Yeah.
And if that's the culture that we have it might not feel like much to one person, but you're basically saying, hey, like you told me I had to pay $5 a month to be like a supporter so that you guys can fund editing, fund all this work. Now you're then basically forcing me to spend my energy doing one of two things: either cracking down on that, which is not a fun activity, not something I want to do, or I have to build or pay for another service where I can actually have like password protected links and it's not on YouTube anymore and it's this whole other facade.
Sure.
And all of those things don't excite me. For me, I not that it's a non-negotiable, but I'm most interested in all of these things being public.
Right.
You know, pop in our, like, you know, for supporters, little like sneak peeks, little clips of stuff, but a full length game, I would love to keep that behind a paywall that people actually are willing to buy in on, but it's challenging. We actually did. It's ironic. I'm calling myself out here. I know you guys are usually doing this stuff, but I'll call myself out. Before ATX, we said, hey guys, we want to go film ATX. This is the money we need. If you support us, you'll get access to the fully produced games. People have probably forgotten about this, even though I've apologized to like the people who did support us numerous times. 2 weeks after ATX, what happens? Spikeball's like, hey, you want to film Richmond and we actually have like, you know, a start of a budget for you guys? Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, the five or so bucks that came from still like a lot of people, many dozens of people, we have to just cut bait and have a very different priority. And I don't think any of those people that have supported us have said to me, hey, like, I want my money back. If you do, we can talk. Like, reach out to me.
Right.
Because they were like, oh, Richmond's pretty sick, actually. Like, I'm glad you guys prioritized.
Sure.
But ultimately, I don't think there's actually a world right now where even if there's a paywall, even if 50 people wanted to do it, that we actually can do a meaningful amount of work. I think we could do something where if we have, you know, kind of like Kickstarter goals. If we raise this much a month, we'll give you this many games a month. But I still don't like how that feels paywall wise.
Understood. I have a question for you. And obviously you just tell me I'd rather not say. But I'd like to do a little game of higher and lower with what Spikeball offered you guys for the Richmond piece in and of itself. And I'm going to start with $5,000. Could
do
you
I have to go higher or lower until you get to like the exact like?
No, maybe I'll only
We're gonna
ask
go
you a
unlimited
few.
rounds.
Okay.
Or maybe just one. Was Roundnetwork offered more or less than $5,000 to put the Richmond piece together? Can you tell me that?
It's an interesting question. I feel like I'm a really big fan of pay transparency for what it's worth.
Sure.
For how much, I'll say, you guys can tell me if you're satisfied with these two answers. Spikeball has paid Roundnetwork more money than people probably would appreciate to know. And when they think about, like, just as a small aside, we can talk about another time, what is Spikeball doing to invest in the sport? They've supported Roundnetwork in a big way, in a way that it seems a lot of people have said, oh, this is what the sport needs, and Roundnetwork has been supported by Spikeball in that way. And at the same time, there has not been the means for Spikeball to pay Roundnetwork in a way that makes sense from a long-term, yeah, we would love to renew this exact number, versus this is a passion project. The hours going into this are, you know, not where they need to be. So those two halves of it, I think, are things that people maybe only know one of them, if not none of them.
Okay.
So higher or lower, $5,000.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's fair.
I had a question. So
Do it, Zach.
if people can monetarily support you, maybe they, for whatever reason they can't. What's another option, or like in what way would you want to see support if they can't give you money in that sort of way?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
I think the biggest one is buy-in, is sharing it with somebody else, and not telling your friend Matt, who also loves RoundNet, that it's a thing. I popped up, like you said, you showed the Richmond doc to some friends and fam. I showed the Richmond doc to some old friends and like literally family members who know about RoundNet. And I popped up, I was like, yeah, like check out the intro of this, check out the first few minutes, watch it all the way through. And I'm like, oh, I wasn't trying to force that on you, but just by getting the word out there. I think Roundnetwork has a lot of goals, but one particular goal to the question is grow the sport by making it something that anybody can tap into. And so you don't have to give us a dime to turn the sport around and say, hey, like, this is what RoundNet's about, and here's some really cool people that are grinding away in this sport. That's free, and I think right now it's a very insular self-promotion where you like are only sharing it on like your RoundNet, you know, account. And I don't want to put down the like everything does add up and help and count, but one big tentpole for Roundnetwork and everything that I do is more people need to know about RoundNet, and
Yeah.
I can't be the only one telling people about Roundnetwork. And I know I'm not, but
Yeah.
I think that's an easy one.
So spreading the word as a summation.
Yeah.
Spreading the word with people outside of that.
Take the links. Be like, hey, I really love this game.
Yeah.
Check out this one clip at 15:10, there's a sick rally here.
Yeah.
And just send that clip to your friend, the same way you would send any other thing you're interested in to a friend. Feel free to link our stuff and share it out.
Gotcha.
I think it's cool. It's like what's it called? With the Round Network. I totally just lost my question. Holy crap, dude. No way. I'm being so bad right now.
Actually, I just want to amend that and
Go
say,
for it. Go for it.
not just, hey, like check this out, but we got to go play. Because it is
Yeah.
not, it is, I think that's the other thing. It's not about just a million people who watch Round Network. We wouldn't have any more money. But more people playing, more people in the sport. That's just wanted to make sure I caught that.
Yeah, for sure.
Got it, by the way. I found it.
Thanks.
Thank you. So the this dog's going crazy. And,
gotta go to the
so
bathroom.
YouTube, what I've noticed real quick is when I've been watching some Round Network games back from like Salt Lake City games, semis games, that kind of stuff. It's just posted free on Round Network. I've noticed we've come across a couple ads snuck in there here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's put in by you guys, right?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Great
Like,
question.
Is that worth it? Is it because maybe somebody's watching? It's like, oh, they're doing ads. They're making good money doing this. Like, how does that work?
Excellent question. I won't say I'm like a student of YouTube. I would say I'm like auditing YouTube classes as far as consuming YouTube. How does it work? How does it all play out? Yeah, I actually think there's a world where it makes sense to remove any mid-roll ads because we want you to just sit down and watch the game and enjoy it. You know, don't have the replay come up and then it's an unskippable ad. Maybe just a pre-roll and post-roll. I've been in and out on a lot of those different features. Albert has also weighed in on his thoughts on like, maybe it's just pre-roll. That's all you need. But yeah, as far as the money coming in, nope, not much. I mean, it's what's amazing is you guys got us to 1,000 subs. You guys got us to 4,000 watch hours. That means we're allowed to apply to be like a YouTube monetized channel based on ads. Look around the Roundnet community. What do you think the CPM, that's the cost per 1,000 people getting an ad served up to them, is going to be for this demo? It's not a demo that's buying houses. It's not a demo that is like doing like personal finance investing, a lot of the high level CPMs.
Yeah.
Not people that are buying college courses necessarily watching our thing. There are people in college, but what I mean to say is the people that are bidding to put their ads on our videos are not paying that much.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But I think one small piece of that I will share is if that continues to go in a good direction, that all of a sudden becomes a way for me to feel very good paying somebody else to edit the video because I can put the money up for them to get paid, maybe give them an ad share on the video they make. Hey, Josh, you edit this banger video and it gets 10,000 views because you did a good job editing sick replays. You should get a cut of that, right? Like those are the kinds of things that can happen. We're not there, but all the ideas are definitely on the table.
Sick.
Yeah, love it.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful.
You want to edit?
I'd have to learn. He's the editor.
Yeah, you have to learn from Zach.
I'd have to learn from Zach.
That's insane. All right, I have one more thing. I want to know, where do you guys what's the future of Round Network for 2024? What's your goals through the season? Like, what do you guys want to cover? And then what do you think realistically is going to get covered and produced and sent out?
Worlds.
Worlds is number one right here.
It's the only thing on our list right now.
That's awesome.
The how big, the what, those are things that we're thinking about working on. As far as we see, that is not the only thing that matters, but for Round Network, that is the North Star goal. There's so many other ideas that I would say aren't, if you guys want to brainstorm like, hey, what are the cool ideas that Round Network might do? I mean, there's too many, but we could talk on some of them if you want. But that's the only goal that I think really matters as far as filming, producing, post-producing.
Go
go
ahead.
for it.
I got something here. I was wondering, because you guys do such a detail-oriented job with the footage via this post-production machine that you have, like that really is well-oiled. I know there's a lot to go through and everything, so that's why we haven't been given everything that's been recorded, which is completely fair. Is there a way you could create a little bit more short-form versions of people go and play, let's say, like Chattanooga, which we're going to start our season, STS-wise in Chattanooga. There could be a Round Network rep there who records, and it's not this 27-minute, it's like a 7-minute, but it's unbelievable, and it highlights a few of the games, it highlights some big moments, a couple a brief interviews with some of the. It follows a player or two, and it does the job that you guys do, but on a much smaller scale. And that 7-minute video may be so much more digestible and easy to crank out that you could that video could get 20,000 views. You know, have you ever thought about maybe toning it down and being able to get more videos out?
It's a great question. I think over the past year, we kind of set our sights on this is the goal we're going to work towards, and we could have made so many other like short reels. Sometimes you've probably seen one or two pop up, but that's kind of like where our energy has been, and maybe this year there's energy in some other, like, I'll say not miscellaneous but like auxiliary spaces. Yeah, we would love to do. I don't think any of the ideas are like a hard no. It's more like a how, what's the trade-off, what's the time to do this. For something like that, I mean, we've had some really good folks in the community who take their footage and transfer it to us so we can then make work with it. I think doing stuff like that in a more, I don't know, fully grassroots way is challenging, only because then you have to have like a really good system for that to work. If you guys have seen like the Colorado Climb, like the fact that Matt Cole got footage from everybody from that tournament and put it on his one YouTube channel, like, I mean, he had a really good time, but I think he would probably not want to do that much production stuff in that way again, because it's you're pulling teeth.
It's a lot. 24
hours straight, and you're not just pulling one person's teeth, you're pulling like 20 people's teeth. So if we were to do something like that where we are dependent on, I'll call it like user generated footage, for something like Chattanooga, having like one person do something, but it's really like everyone kind of putting in their clips or putting in their little behind the scenes stuff, that's a beast. And that even if the output is smaller and shorter, the level of effort is not that dissimilar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's the big challenge is like right sizing the output we want, the stories we want to tell, and also the work that's going to go into it one way or another.
Okay.
Yeah. The really good thing that happens with some of these like episodes that happen is games do get produced as a side product, right? Like we can't, watch Rogue beat Spotless if we're not watching the finals. And then it's like, oh, we can put up this finals match now. So there's some good synergy there with people getting multiple outputs out of that beast.
Understood.
Yeah.
And that's we've gone back and watched footage of like which team was it? It was In System playing against Riva De Nera and Matt Cole. What was their team name? I keep forgetting.
Moneyline.
Yeah.
Like, I've gone back and watched that series multiple times, and I feel like that content was nice because I feel like you just got the footage. It was a little bit cleaner than the usual footage. It looked like it was 4K, and it was very digestible because you just got the games, but you got the scoreboard, you got the mic'd up net, and I really look to you guys for that sort of stuff because not everyone's doing that. More people are doing that now, but I think
which is a really good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we're not trying to stamp our flag and say that nobody else can do a good post production. I think there's a lot of really good stuff happening now.
Agreed,
and we also just scout based on that.
Interesting. Do you think there's anyone else in the community, if you had to tip your hat to anyone that doesn't compete with Roundnetwork, but you look at it and you go, they do a damn good job?
I was specifically doing like post production.
Correct. Any standouts?
Can I borrow that for a sec?
The hat.
What, my hat?
I'll
Oh.
if you haven't seen like some of the stuff from like Vancouver, and there actually was just recently like this hype video for Team Canada's like training camp. Adrian Garcia is also like a pretty capable video person who's done some really fun short form stuff. Little hype video. He did it for In System winning Vancouver's tour stop, and he did it for Team Canada coming up this year. There's lots of other people I could tip my cap to, but yeah, he's like also someone who would love to do more of it and knows he can't.
Right.
I mean, that's been awesome.
Are there other people you guys want to be like? Like I mean,
I
gotcha.
I
think there's a lot of really good stuff going on from a lot of people, and yeah, I've continued to try to talk to people about if they would want to take their talents and help get through this mountain of footage. The big variable being making sure I can still pay them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, I didn't know you had that much, and I thought 100 hours would be close. For you to say that like a piece like Richmond or College Nationals, 100 hours doesn't get you even close is
I think you're like the
concerning.
20% range for like Richmond. Like,
Okay.
I think Albert put in probably over 300 hours. I know he put up like a little post reflecting on it, and I put up fewer hours, but still like I put up over 100 hours for Richmond. So Like I don't really know how it all adds up.
Yeah, that's fair. And I know you've been, you guys have been given your flowers and kudos for that piece. But I'll be honest, I took that piece multiple times, a family reunion, different gatherings, and people, and showing people like, listen, this is the game that I've fallen in love with, and you got to see the best people in the game that are producing this, and anyone that watches it goes, this is crazy. So it's really was you did unbelievable work.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was so cool, man. It's so cool. And you gave us a little bit of that, like, everyone wants to feel like what they're doing in the game, I think, is legit to a certain level. I think that's why some people record. I think that's why people make highlight videos, why people do podcasts, why people practice, train, video themselves training. Everyone's trying to feel like what we're doing is important in some way. And I think Roundnetwork really, like, was a trailblazer, and other people have been recording and doing things similar, but it has been a trailblazer for other people to let their creativity flow. I know for the podcast, Maddie came up to me last year, not really this time, but a little bit after this time, and he's like, I want to come on, this is what I can offer. We have a great relationship, he and I, and Roundnetwork was one of the reasons. I was just like, dude, he's unbelievable with what he can do behind the scenes. He's unbelievable with tech. He's smart. We have a good vibe. I was like, you guys were partially the inspiration why I was able to bring him on and then us create this and take it to the next level. So I owe you a big thanks too, and everything that your whole team's done. Seriously. So that's really cool.
I appreciate it. That's very sweet. I think that's something that is challenging and a double-edged sword for us is anytime someone's playing or doing anything, if anyone wants to imitate them, that's definitely flattering and very like kind of them. But I don't want to encourage people to be putting in the kind of hours that went into this stuff. Only because it brings into question the sustainability of what the goals are and how much you can actually continue to do. So like if you're expecting the exact same thing from Roundnetwork this year, it's probably going to be different just because it can't be the same. It's not possible. And in the same way, for us, we want to level up and we want to get better. So we're kind of stuck between these two things of wanting to improve and also needing to make sure it's sustainable. I know we shared a little post about that. Insert a screenshot of that here.
Don't look at the screen.
But yeah, we reflected on just how crazy the year was. That's where we put the teaser in for that March drop. But yeah,
right.
It just like I felt like it would have been disingenuous for us to not have reflected on that. Yeah, we've been really excited about the work we've done. Yeah, we're really grateful for the support, but also we couldn't actually tell you exactly what's next because we know how crazy the year was, and we've talked about it a lot. We wouldn't trade it, but we also wouldn't double it.
Right.
All right. I mean, this has been a great conversation about Roundnetwork. I mean, now we know 2024 Roundnetwork is still kicking.
Yeah.
Look out for the World's coverage, and then in March we will see the championship coverage, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Look out for that.
You don't have to wait until March to, or maybe it's after March. I don't know when this comes out. Put the date here on the screen. But yeah, like Zach was mentioning, not everybody can support, but I'll shamelessly say, like, if you're in a situation where you've got a stable day job, if you're retired and you've got like just millions you're sitting on, we do accept support from people. And I think one really important thing is we've also continued to ask the people that are supporting us, guys, what can we give you that are extra perks? Because we're not going to paywall all these games. What can we give for you guys? We also need more support on that side of things. We need more ideas of things that you guys want from us that would be like that's sick that like there's this thing I get for being a Roundnetwork supporter. So you guys tell us. I mean, I think that's a big part of how I feel about most of these topics is it's a two-way conversation. I don't think like we're putting stuff out there and just hoping that magic just happens. We want to keep hearing from people.
All right. I mean, I think I'm good with that. Do you have anything else you want to say last second?
I appreciate you guys giving me the time of day.